Okay, let's unpack this. We've got quite a bit of material here, all digging into Bob Goff's book, Dream Big.
Yeah, it's quite something. It looks at how we find our ambitions, how we actually go after them.
Right, and it draws on all sorts of things, really personal family stories, travel, um, community, setbacks, just getting things done.
Exactly. It's not your standard self-help book. Uses these incredibly vivid stories, sometimes kind of wild ones, to make points about faith and courage, points that really stick with you.
For sure. So our mission for this deep dive is to sort through all this material, the book itself, the notes, everything, and pull out the core wisdom, the surprising bits, the things you can actually use.
Yeah, we want to help you listening in, get a handle on your own dreams, your goals, and just feel, well, clearer, maybe more courageous about the journey.
Think of it as a guide, maybe,
Hmm.
a shortcut to the heart of what this source is getting at. We'll dig into those big questions it asks. Who are you? Where are you? What do you actually want?
And we'll definitely look at the role other people play, how they support you, but also sometimes how they might present resistance, even
Oh,
unintentionally.
yeah, that's a big one. And the bumps in the road, nobody avoids those, right? So we'll cover setbacks, failures,
Yeah.
and how the source suggests you keep moving.
It sort of lays out this path. Getting ready first, then setting some audacious expectations, exploring what's out there, taking action.
Expecting setbacks, that's crucial.
Right, sustaining belief through it all, and then finally, landing the plane on those ambitions.
And the way it illustrates all this is just, wow. We're talking rectal thermometers,
Yeah, that one's memorable.
airplane control towers, mob stonings, even heart transplants. These aren't just like quirky anecdotes. They really anchor these deep ideas.
Absolutely, they make the concepts tangible.
So what does all this mean for you? Well, we're not just summarizing here. We want to help you see how these principles, these sometimes counterintuitive ideas, can apply to your life, your dreams.
Wherever you are on your path, whether things feel smooth or you feel like you're dragging a bunch of, what does he call it? Kelp.
Yeah, kelp. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's something in here for everyone, I think.
Okay, let's dive in then.
So where do you even start? If you're thinking about dreaming big, the source interestingly doesn't begin with like a checklist. It starts with people.
Right. That's a huge theme right away. This isn't a solo mission. It really hammers home the importance of who you surround yourself with.
And that relationship with Sweet Maria, his wife, is such a key example.
Yeah, the source paints her as, different from him, but incredibly grounded, like the string keeping his balloon self-anchored. It's a great image.
It really is. And her clarity is highlighted too, how she knows herself, knows what she wants, and is doing something about it
Yeah.
without all that comparison stuff.
Which feels rare, doesn't it? Her focus on family, a few close friends, instead of like chasing popularity. The source frames that as a real source of purpose.
Almost countercultural. And it goes further, saying being different from the people around you, that's actually a good thing. It helps you settle into who you were made to be.
Authenticity, truthfulness. Those are key in those close relationships.
So community isn't just a support group. It's described as like the method we use to make sense of our own lives. It's where the important stuff happens.
Hmm. And that sea otter analogy, holding hands so they don't drift away.
Love that one.
It's such a perfect picture of needing those connections so you don't just get lost out there on your own.
And that leads to this idea of going deeper with people, not just surface stuff. Asking about character, remember that rule from on-site counseling?
Yeah, that's about genuine interest. And the source makes a direct link between taking a genuine interest in others and making your own ambitions happen. Uses Greg Murtha as an example.
It suggests that kindness, that willingness to really see someone else, it's somehow tied to achieving your own dreams.
I think that comes across so clearly in the story about the giraffes. Connecting the author's freckles, his spots.
Oh, that's powerful. How someone else's genuine interest helps you stop seeing flaws and start seeing possibilities. Accepting yourself.
Celebrating yourself, even. And that carries over into mentorship, too, like Don, his mentor, helping him write the book.
Right, but Don kept pointing back to the why, didn't he? The purpose behind the ambition, not just the task itself.
Exactly. That focus on purpose seems critical, especially when things get hard.
Okay, so you build this foundation, this connection, but then the source hits you with reality.
Right.
You're not perfect. You've messed up. Getting ready means dealing with that.
And here comes the rectal thermometer story again.
Can't avoid it.
And the point is pretty blunt, but also kind of comforting, right? You absolutely do not need to have your act together for God to use you or for your ambitions to be possible.
It's like permission to be human.
Mm.
It's okay to mess up. You get a fresh start. Past failures aren't like permanent blockades.
Right. They don't have to dictate your future, which connects directly to the next big piece,
Mhm.
understanding yourself. Where are you starting from?
Those chapters, who are you? Where are you? What do you want?
Mm.
They aren't just one-time questions.
No, you got to keep asking them, like being a student of your own life constantly.
And that airplane control tower advice is so practical. Say who you are, where you are, and what you want. Then listen closely. Works for life too, not just planes.
It also taps into that common feeling lots of people have, that sense of something more, that little pull towards a dream that maybe feels kind of scary.
But to move towards it, you first have to get, as the source says, brutally honest about where you are. Not just location, but your reality.
Yeah, maybe that means facing up to a toxic relationship or feeling stuck, or maybe it's recognizing blessings you've overlooked.
It can be hard stuff. The source even uses the Adam and Eve story, God asking, "Where are you?" And they hide. It shows how that question often digs up shame.
And shame keeps you stuck, looking backward.
Yeah. Being stuck also ties into what grabs your attention versus what distracts you. Figuring that out helps you find your path, not someone else's.
I thought that comparison was interesting, the author's mom saying, "You're welcome," with that pinch of shame, versus people genuinely meaning you are welcome. It's about reframing those old negative messages into invitations.
And that story from Uganda. The kid seeing waving as, "Follow me."
Oh, yeah, that's vivid. How often do we just wave at our ambitions or our faith instead of actually getting in the Jeep and chasing after it?
It's a good question. And it's not enough just to acknowledge this stuff. The source pushes for activating your faith or your core beliefs to actually drive your life.
Not just keeping it in a neat little box.
Exactly. The analogy of Jesus wanting the whole room of your life, not just a few tidy drawers.
Yeah, that means letting go of things that are taking up space needed for the worthwhile ambitions. Actions based on love and grace, the source says, show whose room it is.
And even that funny hotel room mix-up story,
Mm-hmm.
it just shows how experiences, good or bad, shape us, make us hesitant about new things sometimes.
So, okay, moving from understanding yourself to action, ambitions aren't just about what you're good at, they're about purpose.
That's a really key distinction the source makes. It argues against just letting your skills or your career define your whole future.
He uses himself as the example, right? He was a lawyer, totally capable,
Yeah.
but he used that capability to fund what he really wanted to do, starting schools in conflict zones, using what he knew to fuel his purpose.
And being fully awake is how the source describes staying engaged in all this. Not like that panting of the sleeping cardinal.
Recognizing when you're just phoning it in and knowing your own personal tells for when you're dissatisfied, that helps you push through resistance.
Staying engaged also means being available. Like him trying to answer his phone when people call. Seeing it as connection, not interruption.
And that requires situational awareness, both inside knowing yourself and outside understanding the world. You need both to see what helps you move forward and what's blocking you.
Asking yourself those questions. Do I feel safe, supported, known, authentic? Those are like internal gauges.
Yeah, really useful checks. Okay, so making space for new ambitions often means letting go of old stuff. Sounds easy.
Huh? Not always.
No. And this is where that sailboat keel analogy comes in, collecting kelp.
It's brilliant because we pick up things, habits, commitments, hurts that just slow us down, and we don't even realize the drag.
And the solution offered is pretty direct. Back the boat down. Stop. Let things fall away.
Plus that idea of annually looking at everything you're carrying and maybe weekly quitting just one thing that's creating drag. Small steps.
And learning to say no, that's presented as just crucial, a fundamental skill.
Absolutely. The source gives tips too.
Yeah.
Know when to say no, like if it overlaps, or you're
Also,
just doing it out of guilt.
learn how to say it nicely sincere, unapologetic, kind, say it quickly, and don't use "I'll pray about it" as a stall tactic.
Oof, that last one. Hits home for some, I bet.
Probably. And the chair analogy is another good visual, piling stuff on a chair until it seems normal, but it's totally unusable. That's like our lives sometimes with habits or commitments we need to clear out.
So true. Okay, so you clear the path. You understand yourself. But the journey isn't going to be smooth. The source is very upfront about that. Setbacks are inevitable.
Living on the edge of yikes, that's the phrase used. That tension when you're chasing something big. And recognizing how you react to that tension is key.
Because it triggers procrastination, maybe, or you face resistance.
Yeah, and resistance can be internal, your own doubts, or external naysayers. The source uses that image of friends seeing you as a comet shooting off instead of their predictable moon.
And sometimes their resistance is really about their own stuff, their own dissatisfaction.
Often is. But failure. Failure is real. Everyone faces it. But the source's take is about your response. Remember the surfing wipeout story.
At Sunset Cliffs. Yeah, and then years later, trying to rescue the young man who fell from the same cliff.
Leading to that powerful message. Fail trying, don't fail watching. Show up. Engage.
And even in that tragedy, finding meaning later, meeting the mother, sharing the photo, it shows you can find beauty even amid devastating failure.
Right. And the story of Rich falling out of the raft in those Class 5 rapids.
That's terrifying.
Another example of sudden setbacks and that overwhelming relief when you find someone you thought was lost. It's about persevering even in chaos.
So when you hit a wall, the advice isn't give up. It's change your approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like failing the motorcycle test on the big Harley chopper. Too hard to handle in tight spots.
But passing easily on a Vespa.
Right. Pick the right tool for the job. Focus on the goal, passing the test. Moving forward, not just looking the part or sticking to a failing plan.
That flexibility seems key.
Yeah.
Which leads to some really tough stories, like trying to rescue those girls in India.
Yeah, getting stoned by a mob, ending up in jail. Definitely an epic failure compared to the plan.
But framed as learning, as still being part of the commitment.
And the lodge burning down. Huge loss. But the source presents it as this unexpected catalyst for Sweet Maria to deal with deep past trauma.
Making the catastrophe in a way worth every singed beam. That's a radical reframe.
It is. It suggests setbacks don't just hinder you, they can actually qualify you. Reveal things you needed to know.
Wow. So facing all that, learning from it, that takes serious inner strength. Sustaining belief is the next piece.
And anchoring yourself. The rock climbing belay analogy is used here.
Right, being tied to the solid rock, not just the loose stuff around it, so you can handle the weight of setbacks.
And being honest when you need help, when you need to tie back in with support. That's wisdom, not weakness.
The power of words comes up here too. That incredibly moving story about the friend with the brain tumor.
Choosing to make her few remaining words count more than ever.
Yeah. It's a powerful reminder for all of us to use our words intentionally.
And all this leads towards actually doing something. Taking action, what the source calls ground effect.
Getting your wheels on the ground, landing the plane.
And that story about the Indian church with the 2 jars of rice, giving one handful, taking one handful.
So simple, but it sparked this whole economy of giving and taking at a conference.
Showing how community sharing, supporting each other, that's how you land ambitions together. Like the woman who turned $5 into a duffel bag full of money through that system, from a small ambition to a large bowl of completion.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Landing isn't just impact, it's about slowing down, like a pilot cutting the engines.
But what if you have engine failure right at the end, when everything goes wrong just as you're about to land?
The advice is pitch, pick, and point.
Right. Pitch forward, lean into the difficulty, pick your spot, identify where you're going now, even if it's not plan A.
And point, stay focused on that spot. Don't get distracted by the flames, metaphorical or otherwise.
Crucial actions when things fall apart at the finish line.
And maybe the story that pulls all these threads together is Kelly's story.
Yeah, facing a huge health challenge, needing a heart transplant.
Having that ambition to live, to climb mountains again.
And seeing how others' ambitions converged, the doctors, the donor Alice wanting her life to count.
Finding healing through that transplant, and then honoring Alice's gift by living fully, spreading her ashes on Mount Fuji.
It really embodies facing the yikes, accepting help, finding purpose through it all, and the epilogue just brings it back home. Talk to your heart, find safe people, ask for help.
Yeah, back to that foundation of support and self-awareness.
Yeah.
So quite a journey through these sources, from community and knowing yourself to clearing out the kelp, taking action, facing setbacks, sustaining belief, and landing the plane.
We've seen these themes of authenticity, resilience, anchoring yourself, all brought to life through these really memorable, sometimes intense stories.
Thinking about all this, what stands out most to you listening right now? Is it that idea of genuine interest in others? Or maybe the freedom in knowing perfection isn't required?
Or perhaps how setbacks can actually make you more qualified. Or just the simple power of figuring out who you are and what you want.
Yeah, consider this. If you were to take just one thing from this deep dive today, just one insight that resonated, and apply it this week, what would it be?
Would you maybe practice saying no to clear a little space? Or look at an old failure differently, wondering how it might have qualified you?
Or maybe just try to remember pitch, pick and point when things feel tough.
The question really is, what will you do about what you've discovered?